I've been teasing you guys for way too long. The day is finally here. You know I have the epic new chickies, but today I'm gonna reveal your names for my epic hens. You know, they grow up so fast. They used to be in this custom built little brooding chamber, which I have to be honest, I built this thing out of completely scrap materials just laying around here at the homestead. Pretty impressed with myself, pretty impressed. Epic carpentry coming soon. So we're gonna come around this backside here, and I have been integrating the hens, but I'll be honest, it's going well, but not as well as I would like. They just seem to be forming cliques, and I'll show you really quickly. Not too much picking. I think mostly Chetty and Lobster are the ones that really dislike the fact that there are some new hens in town, and they'll sometimes make charges at them. But for the most part, they've been pretty happy. As I say that, you can see feathers lining the entire side of the outdoor run. But the thing is, it's also molting season. So I'm pretty sure a lot of this, especially some of the stuff in there, is just from molts. All right, let's greet these girls. Feathers everywhere. So look at Chetty. Chetty's been by far the most alpha hen, haven't you, Chetty? And it looks like she's lost some of her back neck feathers, her plumage there. Chetty, why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? Show the people. Look at that. I don't know if that's a molt or not. You guys tell me, but you can tell. See the four over here? They are cowering a little bit in the corner because they are somewhat scared. But honestly, even getting to the point where these five are here and these ones aren't like running away physically, I think I'm pretty encouraged by that. So I want to introduce you to our new hens. Everyone say hello to our buff Brahma here. This one, remember, I asked you to name the hens and I respected your wishes. So I went through 1,500 answers per hen on the buff Brahma, which is definitely gonna be our biggest hen. Take a look at those little cute feet. The one that has really stuck out to me and made me laugh the most. Basically, if it made me laugh the most, it's the one that I'm choosing. So say hello to Loaf. I think Loaf really fits her because she's far and away gonna be the biggest hen in the bunch. And I've been making some pretty hefty loaves here at the homestead. And so to me, she embodies a beautiful sourdough loaf. She's also become the most maternal so far of her new flock. So the three others that are under her care, she absolutely protects them and kind of shields them from some of the more annoying older hens. So here we have Loaf. Now let's meet our next one. So here is our black Australorp. Gorgeous, gorgeous hen. When we first got her, she was actually not fully black. The bottom of her feathers were sort of white silvery. Ooh, got those claws. But now even her skin. See the feet, she has some sort of blackish tinge to her feet. And I initially wanted to name her Mascara, but the epic girlfriend vetoed it. She said it was a really dumb name, and I have to be honest, I can't even disagree with her. But we went through the archives and say hello to Wednesday. A timely name, but also a fitting name for such a dark hen. Almost no part of her besides maybe her comb is any color besides pure black. And she's a bit somber as far as hens go. She has maybe one little silver dot right there left. Besides that, she is a full Wednesdayed out, of course named after Wednesday Addams, making some moves. Let's meet our next one. Okay, I'm having to hunt down our Jubilee Orpington because she doesn't realize how to get back to her little girls. Take a look. She has become lost. They don't really seem to know how to get through a fence. Well, obviously you can't, but they don't seem to realize that fences exist. So they can see each other, but they cannot access one another. And you can see she's very agitated by that. So let's go ahead and get her. Come here, Dole. That's a placeholder name. It's a placeholder name. She really doesn't like being held either. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So this is our Jubilee Orpington. Of course, she is the same breed as Butter and Lav and Orpington, but she has this beautiful Jubilee sort of striping or dotting on her. And I think probably maybe the most beautiful Orpington that I have. And I wanted to name her something. Oh my God. Okay, it looks like she's not into this, so let's go ahead and get her back in. Go ahead and go back in. Stop whining. I won't even hold you. Well, we're gonna name her Manchego, after one of my favorite cheeses. So I don't know why, but that just was so funny to me to name her after a random cheese variety. So there we have Manchego. She's also a little stubborn and ornery, maybe like a aged piece of Manchego, I don't know. The last one to name, this one is our Splash Laced Wyandotte, replacing unfortunately, our lost hen Gucci. So we have 2 Wyandottes back in the flock. Of course, we have Chetty, the silver-laced Wyandotte. This is Cortado, our splash-laced Wyandotte, named because, well, you guys picked the name, but she's got this beautiful sort of grayish white and then brownish interior on the feather, which makes to me look like a bit of a mixed drink, like a Cortado espresso, right? So I don't know. She's one of our youngest hens. When we got her, we actually didn't think she'd survive. We'd had to give her some electrolytes and really baby her and sort of warm her up a little more than the average. But she's really made it back, and you can tell like that memory is still in her because she's a very sensitive hen. She's shy. She doesn't like to be around any of the old hens, even more so than the rest. She tends to cower a little bit more, and I'm hoping that she kind of grows out of that. So for those of you who have hens that you actually want to introduce to an existing flock, I'm certainly no expert, but I've done it very, very carefully, and it does seem to have worked. So here was my protocol. The first thing that I did is, of course, raise my hens in my home-built brooder over there, and then I brought the brooder out and actually put it right in here, inside my outdoor section of my run, so that the hens could see each other. They could interact to some degree. They would kind of like maybe peck at each other a little bit through the chicken wire, but they couldn't physically touch each other. And the young hens got used to being out in a new environment around hens that were a little bit bigger than themselves, and also just in a varied environment compared to being inside. That lasted for about a week or so, and it was a little bit challenging because it was tight quarters over here, and it was a little tough to get in, feed them adequately. They have to have separate feed. They're not quite at the laying stage, so there's not as much calcium in their feed, and it's just a different protocol. So it's a little bit time consuming, but I had separate water and food inside that brooder. And then what I started to do is when I was out here during the day, just doing gardening chores, making videos for you guys, I would open that up and let them cross-pollinate just a little bit, not too much. And if I saw too much bullying, I would actually go ahead and close the brooder. Eventually I realized that nothing was going to be gained by letting them familiarize in the way I just described any longer. And so what I did is my girlfriend and I came out in the middle of the night and we abducted the new hens from the outdoor-indoor brooder that was just right there, and we put them in the hen house right here overnight while the older hens were a little groggy, a little sleepy. We set them up really nicely on the roosting bars in here, and we just kind of hoped for the best. And we watched them for about, I would say about a good half an hour to make sure that the older hens weren't pecking and bullying while they were asleep. And then I woke up really early the next day because I was paranoid that maybe Chetty or Lobster would pick on them, just to see. And it really seemed like they familiarized really quickly by doing it that way. I think maybe they're just not smart enough to realize something changed. They sort of thought they were part of the flock, but it seemed to work really well. Now, I will say, you can see, they're not fully integrated yet. Those are my original 5 hens, and underneath here are the 4 new hens, and they've got sort of little posses. You can see our new girl, Loaf, right there, protecting everyone, and Cortado over there kind of shying away, being a little bit of a shy girl. But they don't seem to fully integrate except for certain periods of the day. Sometimes they'll intermingle, like when there's food or water involved. They don't seem to care that they're not of the same tribe, so to speak. And I'm just hoping over time that normalizes, maybe while the younger hens size up, especially once Loaf gets really big. She's certainly gonna be bigger than any of these other hens. So maybe that will start to equalize and the power dynamic will change. But I think it's probably likely that my new younger hens are gonna be lower on the pecking order, maybe forever. It's just the nature of the beast, right? There's a pecking order in any flock, and the older ones probably are going to be the more alpha. On a more frustrating note, I don't know about you guys, please tell me in the comments, but I've been getting almost no eggs lately, almost 0. And I think it's because butter was broody for a while, but also it's colder, and I don't know, there's been some coop dynamics at play, obviously. And sometimes I'll even come in and hunt the roosting bars, and I still don't see any in here. So I've been getting 9 hens, 4 of them are not at layer status, so 5 should still be laying, and I'm only getting 1 or 2 eggs per day, maybe not even that sometimes. I talked to Jacques about it, and he said the same thing. He's like, I'm getting almost no eggs right now. So I know it's fall, I know that chickens slow down in the winter and fall, but it's not that much of a fall. It's pretty hot still, and they're not really molting even. So it's really confusing. If you are a more expert chicken keeper than myself, then I would love to know your feedback. While we're out here in the backyard, a lot of change going on. Like, take a look at over here. Almost nothing here right now. You'll see our grand plans for this later. Say hello to Paul. Hey, Paul. So we've got Craig Pucci Johnson. You guys have been wanting an update on this guy. He hasn't gotten much bigger. He's getting a lot more orange, and take a look at this. This is some of the weirdest pumpkin dynamics I've ever seen. You can see that little chunk of stem right there. Follow it all the way around. Looks like it's completely dead, right? Nope. Boom. We have a full vine coming out right here. Not only that, we have new pumpkins, and take a look over here. It's the same exact dynamic. You've got Craig. Hello, Craig. Complete dead of vines. That's where the vine actually comes out of the ground. This is the origination point right here. But if you follow this around, you get nothing. Nothing until right here, more pumpkins, right here, more pumpkins. Very weird. If I was being a good pumpkin father, I probably would have pruned all those fruit off, but Craig's already sized up. He's not gonna get much bigger, so I'm just gonna let him run, and we'll see what we end up getting. Remember, I'm gonna have all of the new hens carve Craig Pucci Johnson in honor of Gucci, who is still, sadly, buried beneath Craig, providing those nutrients he needs to grow. I'm pretty pleased with the giant pumpkin results this year. I think I could have gotten it much bigger than I did if I only started it earlier and cared for it a little bit better. So next year, I'm gonna go for at least a 500-pound pumpkin. I would say this one's not even 100 pounds, which certainly doesn't qualify for giant, but it's still a very sentimental pumpkin. And the last thing I wanna show you guys today is I have some sweet potatoes going up here in the front yard. These have really been cranking. Probably gonna be my best sweet potato year yet. And the tip that I learned that might help you guys is getting them in as early as possible when the temperatures don't go below a certain point. So the longer you can grow your sweet potato crop, the more sized up they're going to be. And it's just overall going to be a beautiful, beautiful harvest. I'll show you a little sneak peek right now. So if you nuzzle through here, you can see I've got the beginnings of some really nice sweet potatoes poking their way out of the ground. And that's just a result of ample watering and letting this thing rip for as long in the season as possible. But take it in. It's gonna be a lot different pretty soon here at the homestead. A lot of plans for next year. Thank you so much for naming the hens. I had such a fun experience. Well, some of it was fun, going through 1,600 names per hen. Maybe not as fun, but Cortado, the splash lace Wyandotte. We have Loaf, the buff Brahma. We have Wednesday, the black Australorp. And we have Manchego, the Jubilee Orpington. Welcome to the flock. Good luck in the garden, and keep on growing.